Welcome to Business Live Extra, the show that focuses on business leaders and entrepreneurs. COVID-19 has created a myriad of challenges to several local businesses, but even amid the challenges, some companies are still managing to do extraordinary things. We speak with the director of one such company. The business executive was born in Kingston, grew up in St. Anne, but spent his teenage years in Canada. He has spent almost 15 years in the tourism and hospitality industry, with stints as general manager, GM, and sales and marketing, director at Chukka Caribbean Adventures, White River Valley Property. In 2014, he transitioned to being the director of sales and marketing at Tropical Battery Company Limited, a leading distributor of automotive batteries in Jamaica. Tropical Battery has almost doubled its sales over the past 5 years, and in late September listed on the junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, the JSE. Our guest today is Mr. Daniel Melville, Director Sales Marketing, Tropical Battery Company Limited.
COVID.
Yeah, the COVID bump. Yeah. It's great having you. Thanks for jumping on Business Live Extra.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's kind of an honor to be here.
It's great. You're one of three brothers.
Yes.
What's that been like for you?
It's special. I guess one of the real benefits of being one of three brothers, well, for me, is that we're all different. We all have our strengths, and we've all decided that those strengths are better together, working in the same direction. And so, you know, it works well. It's been great. There's a lot of love, you know. Been through some tough times together. Been through some amazing times together. And family, you can't beat it, you know.
And being the youngest, you're the wash belly.
Yes, by 9 years, 8 years.
Has that made it easier for you in your mind, somewhere in between, or even tougher?
I would say, you know, easier on one side, and then harder, you know, because you have a lot to live up to. You got these 2 pairs of big shoes to fill. A lot's expected of you. Being the little mice rat, you know, are you going to amount to the same as your wonderful brothers? But then it's been so much easier. They've paved the way. They've cut my learning curve down tremendously. The guidance and focus and just the way that they've been able to help show me what's worked for them and allow me to figure it out for myself, what works for me, has been tremendous.
And you've really been able to pick up on their learnings over the years? Yes,
you know, everybody's style is different, and we appreciate that. So I think that I've been able to look at what Mark has done and say, boy, that's excellent. That's his personality. That's how it's going to work for him. And I see the same thing how Xander will do it. And then somewhere in the middle, I normally fall somewhere in the middle, because I typically am pretty much personality-wise a good mix of the two of them.
So, and are you known for being a bit more neutral, or are you the most liked, would you say, brother?
I mean, I would love to say that. That's great, but I don't know if it's true. I would think that both of my brothers have their core groups, and some are. One's an introvert more, one's an extrovert more, and so it works. I don't know. I don't know if I would say I've gotten quieter as I've gotten older, actually. So who knows?
Okay, no, that's great. So would you say, though, that it's interesting is that, you know, Mark, who you refer to, is Chukka. Mm-hmm. You know, you're here today, Tropical Battery. You got the great shirt on, the brand. You know, you just did a public offer, which we're going to talk about, highly oversubscribed. And where does Xander fit into the mix now?
So Xander is his strength is in finance, and he sits in that seat for Chukka, Tropical Battery, and Diverse Assets, which is the holding company that owns both of those, and Diverse Properties. He is the managing director for Tropical Battery, and he focuses on finances for and relationships with banks, etc. That's really where that's really where his strong point is.
And seeing the tropical battery prospectus, we really got a chance to look at diverse a bit and how it's utilized. Would you say it's at a stage now where similar to what we've seen some families or shareholders do globally, not just in Jamaica or the Caribbean, all three of as brothers, as Melvilles, you each have your own, say, fiefdom or your own kind of persona now. Mark is at Chukka, you're at Tropical Battery, and as you said, Zanda is
diverse assets,
potentially diverse. Is that kind of how life has now really strategically evolved?
I think that's where we are now. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 5 years? We have so much plans for growth. It's just the right person at the right seat at the right time. So this worked out well for us when we needed to put a little bit of energy and focus on the sales of Tropical. And we needed to do the same thing actually for Chukka. And so we kind of divided and conquered. I moved to Kingston and focused on Tropical Battery, and Mark moved to Montego Bay and focused on Chukka.
Excellent. And when you say moved, where did you move from?
From St. Anne. I actually lived at Chukka Cove. My house is my home.
Right. And the whole family is originally from St. Anne?
Yes, imported my wife from Kingston. And being a city girl, everybody was like, how are you managing living in Ocho? And she just loved it. She was quite happy to be out of the hustle and bustle, though she did like the conveniences of Kingston. And of course, her family is here. But she's been such an incredibly supporting factor for us, me and the girls, that I think home is where you make it, I guess. And she made Chukka her home. When it was time to move to Kingston, and I said, we have this opportunity to move to Kingston, and I'm going to spend all my time at Tropical and put some energy and focus there, she was just like, just let me know when we're going. She was ready,
Yeah, that's great. How did you? We spoke about earlier about tourism and hospitality. Was it your dad who you were emulating, or was it did you get some guidance from anybody in the family to go into tourism, or was it something you really got yourself into?
I would say grew up at Chukka Cove. So from the age of 3, when it was in its initial stages, I've just seen Dad's dream unfold to where it took a different focus from just being an equestrian, based passion to going into tours, because there was this high demand to be a part of our product. So I guess always watching it and seeing it, I knew it. So it was like a natural step for me to be a part of it, or to want to be a part of it.
And you studied tourism and hospitality? Yes,
I then decided to find a good hospitality or tourism management program that was offered at the university. And University of West Indies has a great one. And I took that opportunity.
And that's UWI in Jamaica here, or?
It's here, but the campus for hospitality tourism management back then was in Nassau.
Okay, so you actually went to Bahamas and spent some time.
So you have to do a 1-year qualification here, and then you do an intensive 20 months living in the Bahamas and schooling, theoretical, practical.
Is that something, Daniel, that still happens to today? I mean, are there certain criteria you had to meet or get to be able to, jump over to Bahamas and get into that program?
Yeah, I mean, if I think back, I believe that even though you signed up for the course and started it, if you didn't get an A in every subject, you wouldn't get invited to go to finish your final 20 months in the Bahamas. So it was kind of like a, buckle down and make sure you're serious about it.
And tell us some more. I mean, walk us through it. What else did you, get up to education-wise? Where did you spend your younger years, before going to UWI? High school? Where were your early years of education in Jamaica?
So started off at a wonderful little school at the top of Milford Road in St. Anne, bottom of Fern Gully, St. John's. Then I moved to Kingston at about 4. No, sorry, I moved to Kingston at around 8, and went to Prairie for a couple of years until it was time for high school. Then we found out about this incredible school in Canada, boarding school, and I went off to Canada to boarding school.
Okay.
So
And that's basically, that's the whole cycle, the whole circle, you know, and then coming back here to Ewing.
then right, graduated from there, and then instead of going to university in Canada, I decided to come home. It was time to come home now and focus and see what I wanted to do.
At that time when you came home, were you jumping into the family business at that time, or was there, you know, a gap? Did you do anything else for your first job, or, you know?
Yeah, so when I graduated, I applied to Carnival Cruise Lines.
Okay.
And I got a job as the assistant shore excursion manager on board the Glory. And that was my first job. I mean, working for a massive company like that was such an incredible experience. And what I really wanted, because my end goal, of course, was always to work in the family business, as I mentioned earlier, but was to see what the guest is coming to the Caribbean for. Okay. And exposing myself to how the Caribbean is sold, and just that whole relationship.
Was the money or the compensation good in those days also? Like you were getting paid in US dollars?
Yeah, I was getting paid in US dollars, and I remember getting my first paycheck. Mm-hmm. And I have a smile on my face, right? So it was great. You know, you have little to no expenses while you're on board, so you felt that
you get your meals, you get your accommodation.
You feel like it's all gravy. Mm-hmm. But the experience of living on board with 2,000 team members, right? And every week you have a new set of 3,000 guests. Mm-hmm. Every week. The exposure that you get into the different types of people and the different, I mean, it was second to none. Right.
We're going to come back to that point. And we take our first break on Business Live Extra. We're talking to Mr. Daniel Melville, Director in charge of Sales and Marketing, Tropical Battery Company Limited. We'll hear all about the company when we return. Welcome back to Business Live Extra. We're talking to Mr. Daniel Melville, Director of Sales and Marketing, Tropical Battery Company Limited. Tropical Battery is a household name in Jamaica. What some viewers may not know is that the company was founded in the 1950s by an American businessman. Over a decade later, it was purchased by John Melville and remains in the Melville family to this day. Tropical Battery now operates a major distribution company in Jamaica, with its core business being the sale of automotive batteries. The company also distributes several local and world-renowned automotive consumer product brands. The Tropical Battery story sounds fascinating. Let's hear how the company got established in Jamaica. Daniel, welcome back.
Thank you.
You're just talking about Carnival Cruise Lines, mm-hmm. you know, and just to continue on that thread, are you still, you know, very much in touch with them today? I mean, do you have a good relationship with Carnival?
I would say I would still have a good relationship with a lot of the team members. You know, keep in touch through the usual channels, and because of Chukka, I get to see some of them occasionally.
Okay, that's excellent. So, you know, you've continued to really have great dialogue with them, continue the relationship with them. And did you go back and work with them at any point, you know, during your career?
No. But when I left, I came back home to start at Chukka. And then I did a learning program where I was immersed in every different department at every different level to get a thorough understanding of everything and where the company had grown to while I was away. Mm-hmm. And so I guess the next step was when I had the opportunity to be location manager up at White River Valley. I took that, and that again threw me further into the realm of what.
And you still have that tour today?
Yes, still have that's the river tubing at White River. Valley from the Spanish Bridge.
So Daniel, after the stint at the cruise line, at Carnival Cruise Line, what happened next?
I came home to work at Chukka, and I started the bit of a immersion program in every single tour that we offered at every location, and I then went to be the general manager at White River Valley, probably 2005 that was, which really again gave me a whole new learning experience. I was allowed to now put all that I had learned from Carnival into practice and make sure that we were just delivering at a different level of experience for this international expectation.
And what's the biggest takeaway you got from the experience at Carnival? What was the biggest learning curve?
Process, procedure, and consistency of the product.
And was it frightening at the time as a young man handling or giving service to thousands of tourists, let's say, or to just customers? Or was it something you really embraced and were excited about?
I think that I think of myself a bit of like a people person. So I think that I just dealt with each different situation as an individual, and then it was easy. I didn't have an issue. I don't really.
Sure. And when did Tropical Battery now come into your life, like on a full-time basis, especially?
2014, 2015, we decided to move to Kingston and put some extra special attention on the sales and marketing and just get Tropical into growth mode. And it's done really well.
Well said. And when you came back in, per the prospectus, where was the head office, in 2015?
That was on Ashenheim Road,
right.
where it's been for many, many, many years.
And would you say the business has just transformed? Like when you look at the head office, Ashenheim Road, even though that's where the history is, and you look at the head office now, which was in a prospectus, it's just like a whole transformation of the company since you've been there.
Yeah, I mean, for some people, it was, I guess, a big step to leave. We have team members that have been working with us for 30 years.
That's great.
And so it was a big step for them to move, but it was so necessary and it was so perfect because we needed to, as we grew, we had to become more efficient, and as we became more efficient, we had to make better decisions, and that was the number one reason for moving out to Ferry. We were able to double the size of our warehouse space, which is a big plus, and we were able to have our management team right there above the warehouse, or the corporate office is built above the warehouse, looking down into the inventory, which is an incredible benefit as well. And we have our new branch there, our new service center, so out there.
You can go there as an individual or retail and buy just a single battery if you want to.
If you want to go there and get some windscreen wash and a windscreen wiper and a single battery, we have a service center there. And why it's so perfectly situated why it's good for us is because it's perfectly situated on the highway, which is the busiest road in Jamaica.
And are you seeing Jamaicans individually or family pop in there to get service, even though it's off the highway?
Once a lot of people see the Tropical Battery who don't know how to get there, they figure out the slip road. You take the slip road and you're off, and they come right in. They're either heading out of Kingston normally or coming into Kingston. And so it's a nice little stop off out of the bustle of the traffic. We're getting a great feedback. Our store there is nice, it's quite comfortable, and it's a part of the new look and design that we're going to be rolling out through all of the locations across Jamaica.
How many service bays or how many cars could you change your batteries at any one time though at that location?
Up to 10.
Up to 10.
Okay. We can expand it if we need, but right now we've got 10 spots.
Do you get to the point where there's a lineup, or maybe it gets so busy
Outlet Ferry?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Soon, hopefully.
But that's where you want to get to.
Yeah.
Very good. And take us back now. So John Melville is your dad?
Grandfather.
Is your grandfather?
Right.
Okay.
So,
And then Danny is your dad?
Danny is the dad, yeah.
Okay. So this is going back many
Yes,
generations?
19, so we're a third generation.
And so John purchased the business.
In 1967.
And in those days, it was already called Tropical Battery.
Yes.
Okay. And how, the branding that we see now on your shirt and everything, is this a kind of a recent edit, or is this a revised brand, or what's happening here?
So one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure that the brand was going to last another 65 years. And it had to be relevant. It had to be convenient. It had to be, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a rebranding exercise, and we tweaked the logo a little bit. You don't want to change it so that nobody recognizes it, but you want to keep what's great, and you want to see how you can make it better. That's my philosophy.
And you have everybody's buying with that. Everybody is aligned.
I believe that when we did the first rendition of it, I think send out even the logo, for example, by making the lightning bolt change. It was a part of our logo for many, many years. Mm-hmm. But making the bolt bigger and attaching it to the top of was a big change. It's incredible how people are like, really? Everybody loved it. Because I believe that the whole team, our senior management team, and the whole team, everything from service bays to, every part of Tropical Battery, we share a common vision. Well, I'd like to hope that we share this common vision, and everybody is working towards this goal. That's to be better and better and better.
And your grandfather bought the business. So is this the oldest business? Speaking about the companies, earlier, this is the oldest business in the family businesses?
Yes.
Okay.
Chukka came later.
And it's the first one to go public as well.
Yes.
Okay. And how many locations now does Tropical have?
6. We've just opened our 6th location. That our service center, it services the warranties and supports them, etc. But the one of the, benefits of our distribution is that you can get a Tropical Battery at almost any gas station, any auto parts store around the island.
Are you in PriceSmart as well, or a Megamart, or?
We are in Megamart.
You're in Megamart.
We're not in PriceSmart yet. Something that we can speak to them about. One of the things with our direction is to make sure that we're not too far away from the consumer when they need the battery. Mm-hmm. So different locations across the island carry Tropical Battery. We've got over 1,000 distributors, retailers, and customers.
And the 6 locations, that includes Ferry as well? Or
that includes Ferry.
Mandela? Yeah?
Yeah.
That includes it. Okay.
Yeah.
And is there any, anything to potentially one day go into gas stations, maybe brand independent gas station Tropical, or is that not something that's, necessarily on the horizon, or, in the game plan for TBCL?
Not right now. Anything is possible. It would be, we could find definitely how that could be a good opportunity for us. Mm-hmm. We would look at it.
Okay. And are there any global comparisons that, whether you're in your boardroom or your management meetings, that, Tropical always jumps out, or you compare it to, whether it's in the U.S. markets or?
So my brother, Zander, he consistently reminds us that our competition is Tesla. It's not a local brand that's in energy storage. It's something bigger that has bigger arms to it, different sides to it, but it's all focused around energy storage. Mm-hmm. Whether it's harnessing the solar for your roof, for the Tesla wall, or charge stations, for vehicles. It's always something bigger.
So really, Tropical has very high aspirations and expectations, based on that analysis.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. And how else are you, with the brand, the slogan? Is the slogan coming also from your grandfather days?
No.
Lasting for longer, or is it coming from your dad, or how does this whole brand and the brand image of Tropical really evolve?
I think when Mark got involved at Tropical, he had brought in, he had changed the logo. He brought in a marketing house, and they changed the logo. Maybe Mark and Xander were both back at the time, I believe.
Okay.
And so maybe 20 odd years ago, I believe. Before that, it was "It starts everything."
So it's amazing. So you have had a slogan change.
Yes.
Yes, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you maintained that slogan with any other kind of subsidiary or company within Tropical, or any product?
No, not yet.
No? Okay.
No, we have plans of bringing back. So we've done a ton of research on the last 70 years, because we believe we can learn a lot from where we were and how we adapted to the different times in Jamaica. And I do have plans on bringing some of that stuff back and building on it.
And the slogan now is?
Stronger for longer.
Stronger for longer. These are exciting times for Tropical Battery, as on September 29th, it officially listed on the junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. We're talking to Daniel Melville. We'll hear more about the IPO experience after this break. Welcome back to Business Live Extra. We're talking to Mr. Daniel Melville, Director, Sales Marketing, Tropical Battery Limited. September 29th, 2020 was a significant day for the Tropical Battery family. That's the day it listed on the junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, the JSE. The company issued a sale and initial public offering, IPO, at $1 per share in early September through lead broker NCB Capital Markets Limited. The transaction was oversubscribed and the offer closed early. That could be considered quite a feat during a global pandemic. More about the road to becoming a publicly listed company. Daniel, welcome back.
Thank you.
To Business Live Extra. So the IPO, as we said, highly successful, despite C19, COVID-19, the pandemic, everything happening. But there is a lot of liquidity in Jamaica, they say. How did you pull it off?
It was, the feedback that we got was that highly anticipated. Anybody that we had mentioned it to or got wind of it had said, what a great idea, for your growth, etc. And on the day, when we finally listed, it was oversubscribed, as you know, and it closed early. We closed it early on the same day we opened.
What was the experience like, for you, your brothers, the family, going through your first public offer of a company?
So, because we have had so many partnerships in our other companies, the levels of transparency and the levels of all different workings of partnerships that we've had to deal with, I wouldn't say it was a massive leap for us preparing and going public. But it's definitely, something we're all looking forward to, and it's all new, so we're still very excited, and we're going to use it to just grow the company as much as we can.
As possible.
Yeah.
And the IPO wasn't huge, but it was still a substantial number, 325 million Jamaican. What are the proceeds, or what's the plans? What is Tropical going to use the funds for?
We are planning on, so our number one branch, Grove Road on Halfway Tree Road there, is...
Was that the first branch ever opened?
It was the second branch, yeah. Actually, right across the road, I believe, was the first branch.
Okay.
And as it grew, we needed both sides, and so we've expanded it. We're going to expand Our pain point there is there's not enough parking. So the Boulevard Gallery, which is right behind, we plan on expanding into that building, which will double the parking and the space inside, etc., to be able to deal with the demand. The finishing of the new warehouse, retail, service center, and corporate office that we've just moved into. And maybe going into some other energy storage avenues, you know.
Okay.
Like,
And what's energy storage? You know, when somebody says that.
a battery, you know, it's just an energy storage device, and what you put in it, like the charge.
The charge.
But
Is solar, like, is solar power, you know, considered energy storage, or is that a different?
Batteries.
Just the battery part of it.
Yeah, so the battery part of it.
Okay.
So we're planning, of course, widening the types of batteries that we offer as well. So going into lithium-ion batteries, which is storage for solar, going into the different types of batteries that EVs are using, which some are lithium-ion, some are LiPo, you know, they're all different. Down to the alkaline batteries, we now have AA, AAA, C, D.
Any plans to, you know, for Tropical to invest in solar energy or solar power with just the popularity of even lots of residential homes now, you know, putting up solar energy on their homes, and just the industry seeming to take off over the last couple of years?
I believe anything that can be vertically or horizontally integrated into the business and somehow is aligned with energy, we will look at, you know.
Okay. And did you get big support? I mean, it's the quarterly results aren't out yet. I mean, the annual report isn't out yet, so I can't see the top 100 shareholders yet. But did you get a lot of support, you know, if you can say, from your agents, your distributors? Were there a lot of people who just said, we got to get our hands on the Tropical brand, because it's such a legacy, a legendary company in Jamaica, and sometimes that sells, you know, not just the fundamentals, Daniel.
Yeah, that was, I would say, one of our first points for going public. We wanted to broaden the ownership. We wanted to make sure that the team members at Tropical, that either whether they just came or they'd been there for 40 years, they'd shared the vision of Tropical Battery and worked to get us there and hit all of our targets all the times, that they were owners. And also our customers. So some of these gas station customers, some of these other auto parts, they have been a tremendous part of the growth of Tropical Battery over the years, because they've supported us.
So were they in the reserve pools, you know, or in some of the parts of your prospectus?
Yes, some of them we were able to keep in the reserve pool.
Okay. And what's the competitive landscape? I mean, besides having the global ambition and the expectations of a Tesla and a Elon Musk, bringing it back home, you know, who are your competitors in, you know, the local landscape? Because a battery, it's a commodity. Is it very competitive? Has it gotten more competitive? What's it like?
I believe that in the, just to go and grab any battery, you know, you're going to find places where there are other batteries. But we are the really only true battery specialists with the knowledge and the expertise, the service, and the backing up of the warranty, support there, not just for the end customer, but even for our distributors.
Do you feel the Tropical brand, you know, a lot of companies go public, and the brand is now going to be on the, you know, the nightly news. It's going to be, you know, in the newspapers. It's going to be everywhere a lot more. So do you feel really the Tropical brand, it's like the KFC, it's like the Burger King? You know, Jamaicans love a major brand. And is that Tropical in you and your family's mind for batteries in Jamaica?
I would like to think so. I mean, it's a household brand name for 70 years. You know, some people don't even say I need a battery. They just say I need a Tropical.
That's what I want to ask you. Does a Jamaican still do that? Do they ask that?
Yes.
That they want a Tropical?
Yeah, I need a Tropical.
That's good. You smile when you say that.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
You got to, I guess, one of the challenges is also making sure that we're, always delivering that brand promise that people are coming to Tropical for.
And
that
what
quality.
do you think caused that? What's the history there? And is it a warranty program? Is it a warranty that you give? Or
There's a warranty program, but I would say that it's going beyond the brand. It's in some of the stories that we get from our customers that are writing to tell us how somebody has gone above and beyond to help them. It's in the small details that when you care for somebody, for being that peace of mind for somebody, which Tropical Battery essentially is trying to do every day. We are trying to be that peace of mind.
Right. And with everything happening with climate change, we've even seen Branson in Jamaica, set up a fund, I think, at one point in time, and that's gotten, heavy public relations marketing. Is there anything Tropical has had to do differently over the past couple of years with, climate change, the green economy, just with the batteries, or any issues with just batteries being cotched in trash bins or gullies, or is there any association you've had to form, or just what's happening, just from a not just economic, but just a green standpoint?
Yeah, one of our charges, one of our focuses is the environment. And it's, we've got to be in a sustainable environment. We spent over $80 million last year alone collecting spent batteries and exporting them so that they can be properly recycled. That's, we're proud of that, and we want to increase that next year and do more for the environment, getting it out of the wrong situation and getting it right back to it. Lead is one of the most recyclable metals, 99.99%. And so, when you have something like we've seen with our plastics, it can be recycled. You want to take advantage of that to save the environment any way you can.
That's good. And how do you feel, it's probably early days, but how do you think your shareholders will react to that?
Great. I think everybody wants to be a part of something bigger and better, and be a part of a company that's doing good for the environment and helping this world. We've seen what's happening this year alone between the storms and fires and all that devastation. I think everybody wants to do their part to be in a better world.
Better place. Great, Daniel. And we take another break on Business Live Extra. We'll talk about the outlook for the future for Tropical Battery in the middle of an economic downturn. Stay with us. Welcome back to Business Live Extra. We're talking to Mr. Daniel Melville, Director Sales and Marketing, Tropical Battery Limited. The economy declined by 18.4% for the second quarter of 2020 when compared with the same period in 2019. The performance of the economy was largely due to the negative impact of COVID-19 and the measures adopted to limit its spread. These are extremely difficult times for businesses in Jamaica due to the impact of COVID-19. Let's hear from Daniel Melville's outlook for Tropical Battery and the local economy. Daniel, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
We're waiting for your quarterly results, but in the interim, what can you tell us? Has Tropical Battery had to pivot a bit? Have you had to make some moves, or is the business pretty much, inelastic or fine with COVID-19?
Yeah, we've had to make some major changes, as every company, I believe, has had to do. We've done everything from setup, realize that, should something affect the company, we'd need to be able to work from home, whether you're isolated or whatever. So one of the big steps that we've recently made is we've set up almost every department so that they can work from home if needs be. That's everything from the line of incoming calls for sales that would be able to be inputted. Somebody, an accounts, they could be home. The system is, our new system that we've put in at the new location would allow for them accounts to be verified and the order be sent off to a warehouse. And with our new management system, inventory management system that we have there, the goods are picked, loaded, and shipped out.
Okay. So are these some initiatives that have been heavy expenditures or some new capital expenditures, or are not too bad? Like when you mentioned inventory systems, working from home, stuff like that.
They've not been too bad. They've been pretty much planned. I wouldn't say that they're anything exorbitant. Maybe a couple laptops here or there. The system was already in place. It was just putting it to use.
Any other initiatives to kind of protect revenue, like to keep revenue, at its current levels?
Well, we've had to tighten our belt, quite a bit, as everybody has. Keep a focus on our profits, the margins, and see where we can cut and where we can't. We've been able to look at what's a better way to hurdle some of the issues that were coming up through COVID. One of them was, people couldn't leave their homes. Maybe it was an age thing. Maybe it was whatever, a sickness. They were quarantined, for whatever reason. So our mobile response, which was a newly developed new service that we offer, has been great. Incredible response where you call us and we'll come to you.
Okay, I've used that before, and I've had a couple of colleagues or friends use it. Tell us more about that. When did that start by Tropical? Is that started, during COVID, or has that been around for a couple of years?
We started it just out of our going beyond the brand, where you get a phone call and they're like, I need a battery, but I can't get to you, and some of our branch managers would be like, no problem, we'll find a way to you. Until we decided that we needed to make it a little bit more of a permanent revenue stream. And so when that started, very on a small scale, we definitely utilized it a lot. We had good growth out of it over the real pandemic time, I would say, was between March, and June, July. And because of it, the word spreads, and now people are using it a lot more. It's something that we will be expanding and growing as well. We'll be expanding the hours that we offer it, the days. So we will, currently it's just during the week, and it's just in the corporate area of either Kingston, Montego Bay, Ocherous, or Mandeville.
Is it a total separate team? I mean, is it a separate fleet that kind of goes out, or how does it work?
In our bigger locations, it's a separate team. In our smaller locations, like Ocherous, it's the same team, and he just takes that opportunity then, pops off.
Additional charges, or
yes, there's an additional charge for the delivery, which is $1,000. Depending on where you are, can be $1,500.
All right. Fantastic. No, it sounds really good. And how are you? How are you? And Tropical as well. But how are you feeling about Jamaica now? 6 months and change into COVID, and what's happening globally?
I can only speak from the Tropical hat when I say that I believe that it's more of a positive outlook. I believe we're gonna get back there sooner than we believe. When you look at the transportation, the amount, for example, even our battery sales last year, it's on the increase, which means the cars are on the road, which means people are doing business. And though many service sectors have had and are still experiencing tremendous troubles with what's happening with COVID, I believe that Jamaica is going to bounce back. The strong will survive, as it is in all industries. And I think that Jamaica is going to come back bigger and better than before.
Do you think we're in a pause just for a few more months, and hopefully everything gets back to normal January next year, or you think this could be a longer pause, for for Jamaica?
Yeah, I can't speak to that because every month has been something new and something like you could never have imagined. So I believe that everybody needs to, keep your goals in mind and follow the protocols and get on with business, because we don't know what's going to happen next month, and we don't know, what's going to happen when we'll return back to any sense of normalcy. So it's just about trying to adapt to what the current issues are, and work with them.
And being director of sales and marketing, such an important role, how have you kept the staff motivated, during this time? The staff, the team. I mean, have you had to do any exercises, more robust staff meetings?
So we've, I guess, nothing in particular that no extra training has really. What we've done is a lot of getting everybody more comfortable with going digital. So we even do our sales meetings over Zoom. We're putting in a new system at the warehouse, which will new warehouse, which will coordinate all of sales activities digitally, everything through to one big process. So that's coming, which is a part of the change that we are planning for post-COVID. And I guess the numbers themselves, have been motivating for the team.
Okay.
We haven't seen any big fall off in many areas except for the service industry, like tourism or like restaurants or stuff like that. Our receivables are good. They're in a good place, and sales are climbing. So that in itself is more of a motivation for the team than anything else. The proof is in the pudding right there.
And any bitter medicine during the 6 months? I mean, have you had to kind of bite the bullet and do any layoffs, or when you mentioned tighten the belt, or have you been able to kind of maintain the status quo?
Yeah, we tried as best as possible not to do layoffs, because we've seen over the years a certain resilience with Tropical Battery. And so what we wanted to do was keep our team as much as we could. And we had to do percentage cuts in the salaries, which was hard for everybody. But we tried a tiered approach where the bigger salaries got the bigger cut, middle salaries got a small 5%, and the smaller salaries got a much smaller cut back. And I believe that it worked well for everybody. We did speak to the team. What did they prefer? They prefer to cut the team back or still be a part of the team, and everybody, tightened up with us.
So it's very, as you mentioned earlier, you've had a lot of people there for a long time, very teamwork oriented, and you're able to, keep everybody in that mindset.
Yeah, it's easy when everybody has a similar vision, and I believe that we're there. It's a nice family at Tropical.
All right. And how, coming back to Jamaica, I mean, how do you feel about Jamaica? Any advice, any thoughts on how Jamaica can push through this? Given what's happening in tourism now, remittance market is holding up, but anything that you feel, the country should be doing?
I'm no health expert, and that's what this kind of calls for. But I believe that we must all follow the protocols. If we all follow the protocols, we'll see an incredible decline. It'll show how strong we are as a country to come through something like this. Because all we need is a decline in the numbers, and then everything else will start to go up.
That's great. Daniel, thanks for being on Business Live.
Thanks
very
much
appreciated.
for having me, Mark.
Yep. That's it for another edition of Business Live Extra. We've been talking to Daniel Melville, Director Sales and Marketing of Chukka Battery Limited. Don't forget, you can watch us online at cvmtv.com/business. Thanks for joining us.